being a great clinician is powerful, but being a clinician with a strategy for your career and finances, now that's a different level. Hi, guys. Welcome back to Rts Share Tea, where respiratory therapists live out loud. With me, your host, Linda Fry, the asthma lady. Yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to anyone new. And today's conversation is about strategic planning, leadership, and financial resilience. But before we get into the show, I want to say thank you to our past guest co-host, Dr. Jenny Uguru, who dropped some serious gems on the federal Department of Education policy changes and how this affects nursing education and the future of healthcare. So please check out that episode. But today we have another amazing guest co-host, Gbolahan Harris. Yay! Hi, Gbolahan. Welcome, welcome. Guys, I'm going to read Gbolahan's bio and then I'm going to let him take over the show. All right? Okay, so here we go. Gbolahan Harris is a healthcare leader, respiratory care practitioner, a financial service professional with nearly 3 decades of experience transitioning teams and empowering people. After a long and successful career leading clinical operations across neonatal, pediatric, and adult care, Gabali expanded into financial services, helping families and small business owners protect income, build confidence, and create legacy with intention. He holds a Master of Science in Innovation and Entrepreneurship from HEC Paris and serves as the chair of the AARC Leadership and Management section, where he leads national conversation and respiratory care, professional development, and growth. Harris is committed to helping individuals and organizations thrive through leadership, clarity, and intentional leadership building. Please welcome again to the show, Gbolahan Harris. Yes. Welcome, welcome,
Thank you. Thank
welcome.
you. I definitely want to meet this person that you just described. This is amazing. Uh, thank you, Linda.
It's you. You welcome. You welcome so much. Thank you again for having you. And I'm so excited for this episode because I've never really had a topic centered around financial resilience and weaving that in with leadership and strategic planning. So very, very excited to have you here today. But before we get into that, before we get into finances and strategy, I just want to let the listeners get to know you a little better. So can you tell us what first sparked your passion for financial planning and strategic thinking?
Oh wow, that's a deep question right there. So I would say I have spent nearly 30 years in healthcare, leading teams, solving problems, and helping people breathe better, right? Literally and figuratively. That's what we do every day, right?
That's
At the bedside, in any healthcare facility, that's what we really focus on. And over time, I realized that there's something powerful going on. People weren't just struggling with their health and their breathing, they were also struggling with their finances, their stability, and their sense of security.
yeah, which
I saw
takes your breath
families,
away.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go
I've
ahead.
seen families, right, where we in the hospital, we've had families that were working hard to take care of themselves and their family, and small business owners coming in and realizing that if they were not back to work, they didn't have any income coming in. And I saw also people that had dreams but no roadmaps, no GPS set up to really understand where
Hmm.
the end goal is or where the plan is. So I realized that leadership is not just in one industry, right?
Right.
Leadership is really across industries, and service isn't only limited to one healthcare role. And I also realized that the impact can be in multiple different ways.
Absolutely.
So working in the acute care hospital, then having an opportunity to work in a DME slash home health service program.
Okay.
That is really where I saw the most impactful events happening, where our patients were leaving the hospitals and ending up at home. We cure them, or we fix their illness, but we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't fix their financial woes.
Hmm.
I would go into a patient's home, so in the hospital we call our customers patients.
Yeah.
In the DME and home health service space, we call our patients,
Clients.
our customers, clients.
Clients. Uh-huh.
Whereas in the insurance business, we call our customers members. So
Mm-hmm.
each group has a way of service. How do you serve that same patient, but they're in different spaces at different times?
Mm. Okay.
So
I hear
that
that.
was really where I started realizing that there was a gap, right?
I
We did a
see.
great job helping, curing, and healing people, but we were also not healing the other side of it, which is their finances. And because people were not prepared for it, our clients were not prepared for it, our members were not prepared for it, our patients were not prepared for it, our customers were not prepared for the life events happening.
Oh
So
yeah.
even at the DME space, we were talking to the insurance company. How do we make sure that patients do not get readmitted to the hospital? Well, guess what? If I don't have the funds to take care of myself when you discharge me from the hospital,
Right.
then I make all the poor choices because I don't have the funds to
Right.
have a better healthcare personal care system in place. So in
Absolutely.
4 to 6 months, I'm back in the hospital with high blood pressure, with gout events happening. So really the cycle never stops. And
Yeah.
anyways, that was really the spark when you were asking what sparked this question of financial services,
Okay.
and how do you really change that conversation? So that's where I started seeking and looking for solutions that works and that I've seen, but yet I didn't hear it clearly, and it took a few more years for one of my students to reach out to me and say, "Bowie, have you heard of X, Y, and Z?" And I said, "What?" That's really something that is available to individuals and families. And she was like, "Yeah, Bali, it is available, but no, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about this financial solution that is
Right.
available, that actually helps secure and protect people
Right.
while they're
Right.
healthy and when they get sick." So that
It,
that began my quest.
no, 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 no. That's very, and thank you for sharing that. And that's very interesting because you said several things. There is absolutely knowledge gaps around financial literacy. And especially for those in communities that we serve, like I serve the underserved and the Black and brown populations. And so, and you're right, when it comes to things like even asthma, like I deal with asthma patients, they absolutely come back to the hospital if they don't have the resources to take care of themselves at home, aka which is attached to the money. It's resources, finances, insurance coverage, and access to the everyday things. So it definitely makes a difference in regards to outcomes, like how's this patient going to do. So you answered. So my next question was going to be, was there a moment that you realized financial literacy was important? Is there a specific moment where you were like, yeah, this is missing and I need to do this?
So
Go ahead.
for me, it started with my family personal event happening, and I realized that I needed to protect not only myself but also my family in case of
Okay.
life's unexpected events happening. We did change our diet, we did change our workout routine, yet and I was making sure that if anything ever happens, like a major illness or a catastrophic health event happening, I would have the resources available to continue
Hmm.
taking care of my family. And I couldn't have saved up the amount of money that I had put together as a protection for my family. So that
Okay.
was part of that journey for me, was like, if I it took me so many years to figure it out, how many people are out there that didn't totally into the conversation of how do we transition from healthcare to personal care?
Yes, I hear you absolutely. And you're certainly right. It is something that we have to be aware of. I'm in that space where I have young kids and I have two disabled aging parents. So it is something that we think about. And yeah, those conversations are very necessary and need to be had. So I hear you very loud and clear. Gbolahan, you're not only a healthcare leader, but you're also an entrepreneur helping others with strategic planning and financial resilience. So can you tell us what this looks like? What does a typical day look like in this entrepreneurial journey that you're on?
I love it. Being an entrepreneur means that you have to go out and get your own food yourself. You
That's
cannot
right.
depend you cannot depend on anybody. You cannot go in and clock in and go, okay, I clocked in and for the next 12 hours I'm getting some paychecks.
Uh-huh.
You're actually looking, the 12 hours you have, the 18 hours you have is really about how do you serve people? And that is for
Mm-hmm.
me, my day is in that positioning is
Okay.
first I normally would plan out my week ahead and look at having conversations with business owners and
Mm-hmm.
individuals. So my schedule, I always focus on having at least two client conversations a day.
Yeah.
And during those conversations, very similar to a sales role. It's a sales role, but you're building relationship. It's about relationship
Right.
building. So in a
Correct.
typical day, for example, yesterday, I drove to four different clients. I visited with four different clients. The
Okay.
first client that I visited with was really to talk about his EMS business
Okay.
and how can I help him find solutions for his business. It was not for me to offer a different service, but really to empower him and help him think through solutions to ensure that he can grow his business faster. That conversation was had. I made sure we went through his documents and his portfolio, make sure that he was comfortable where he was at, and he signed off on it. So
Okay.
each client needs are different, and
Okay.
you you have to serve as a coach at some point, and then you have to serve as solving problems that the individuals or the customer is not aware of. Most of all,
Okay.
what I love to do is educate my clients on the solutions that they're missing.
Okay, because I was gonna ask you what gets you excited? Like, what's the fiery part of what you're doing in your entrepreneurship journey?
Wow.
Would that be it?
I get excited about the education part because
Okay.
it's the awareness. And you know, I was talking to a couple of sales reps that work in the healthcare space, DME, what's it called? In the medical sales space. And
Okay.
across the board, when you ask any sales rep, the conversation is my job is to educate. I'm not
Hmm.
really selling a product, I'm selling
Right.
education. So
Right.
it's
Providing
awareness of the
value.
product. And
Hmm.
when we work in the hospital, we could sit around and wait for patients to come. When
Right.
you work in the DME or home health, you already have a caseload of patients that you go
Right.
see.
Absolutely.
In the
Mm-hmm.
sales and entrepreneurial space, you don't have a list of customers that are instantly showing up on your books. So you have to go out there and connect and build relationship.
Correct.
And I find that I love the fact of connecting with new people, building
Mm-hmm.
relationships, and then
Mm-hmm.
finding out what their needs are and how I can be
Right.
of service to them.
Me too. I like that part. Yeah, yeah. That's as a fellow entrepreneur, I do too. I like educating and sharing the aha moments, forming the connections, and yeah, I'm a very vibey person. Do we fit? Do we mesh? So yeah, yeah, I totally get it. Okay, great. So let's rewind a bit, right? And talk about you as a respiratory therapist. So what inspired you to become a respiratory therapist?
It all started with a Cadillac, right? Like I shared before. I started sharing. It all started with a Cadillac. I met my mentor who had a Cadillac, and I was asking him, "Hey,
Mm,
I was young back then, and I was like, really thinking of what do I need, what do I want, and the minimum thing that a 22-year-old is looking for is a Cadillac. You got to
that's
have a
good.
good ride, you
Yeah.
got to have a good cruise. So really trying to figure out how do I get to the Cadillac. Um, but this fellow was able to share with me that he was a respiratory therapist, and
Okay.
what he does is make sure that people are breathing, and he helps people breathe. And I was like, there is
Mm,
a job like that? And he goes, yeah, at Mount Sac, you go over there, make sure you apply, and that was history. I applied and I was accepted, and I survived the program.
yeah. Oh yes, 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 yes. Oh yeah, because I think being an adjunct professor, I'm seeing that now too. Some students, I don't think they fully grasp what they signed up for at first. Like
Yeah,
you really you have to know that stuff.
yeah.
There's no shortcut. You got to know respiratory
You
for
got to
real.
know that story. Yep.
And so how did that journey? So meeting your mentor and this car that you had to have and you getting into the RT profession, what eventually led you into leadership and being the director of respiratory care services? What got you there?
Wow. So it it opportunities presented themselves, and I say opportunities because you think about it, and you're again, for me, it took me a while to really figure out what my mission was, and I say my mission in the sense of what is my mission statement, and how do I really want to make an impact. And
Mhm.
for me, it all started with my name, which means Gbolahan, which means to add value or to bring out the
Okay.
best in others.
Wow.
And that is how I discovered that I was actually my approach to supporting individuals and supporting team members were different, in the sense of I wanted to make sure that I amplify people and I made sure that they were practicing at the highest level of their profession. And that's where
Excellent.
my first role was offered, which was a supervisory role, to support a neonatal unit. And
Nice.
that I had many supports from individuals that uh, were more experienced than I was, but they were willing to support me and help me become
Mm,
better as a leader.
excellent.
Um,
Very
so that
nice.
that was the first inclination of, okay, hey, let's push this forward. That was back in the day, it was called servant leadership, and I was like, that is me. I am a
Right.
servant leader. I want to serve
Correct.
my people.
Correct. I feel like
Um,
that too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
So that I've embraced that concept of servant leadership and finding ways to amplify people. And
Right.
whenever there's an opportunity, I embrace that opportunity and say, hey, why not me? Why not? Why can't I take that challenge on? And every level requires a different skill set. So going
Oh,
from a frontline supervisor to a frontline manager to um a direct assistant director, then to
mm-hmm.
a director role, each one of them required different level of preparation. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to position myself and also have that conversation uh, with other leaders that were in those roles prior. So talking to
Nice.
managers that were managers before I became a manager, what were the challenges that they were facing? How can I prepare for
Okay.
myself to be in that role was helpful.
Mhm.
Um,
Excellent.
I feel so I did a jump from the hospital system to the DME home health system. And I was like, where's the safety net?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, so being a director or a program lead in a DME company is very different from you
Right.
leading a
I can only
team
imagine.
in the hospital system.
Hospital.
So very
Mm-hmm.
different. So that
Yeah.
was a good awareness. That was a good introduction into leading in a different space.
Got you. So yeah, so you got to see leadership from different angles, and it sounds like it definitely didn't look the same going from one to the other. And I feel like I've experienced the same thing too. It's not a one size fits all. It's definitely not.
Very true. Very true.
So yes, okay. Thank you for sharing that. And with many healthcare professionals are amazing clinicians, right? But they don't necessarily have the strategic plans for their careers or finances. So what are some practical steps people can start taking today, in regards to thinking long term, financial literacy, and you just mentioned actually professional networking and investing in ourselves. So you already started to speak on it. So if you can elaborate just a little more.
So I would say the first and foremost is sitting down and writing out a 36-month plan. And I say that because a
36.
lot of times
Okay.
you talk about 3-year plan or 5-year plan. And when I hear 5-year plan, it's like, oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, 5 years.
Right.
A lot can change in 5 years. I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
look, between even for me, 2020 and 2025, I done had a brand new life. I had a baby, I mean, it's different.
And I can guarantee you, you didn't sit down and go, in 2022, I'm going to have a baby. In 2023, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
We didn't do that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mind-boggling. Mm-hmm.
The on the flip side of it, I tell everyone, every business puts together a budget. Every family should put together a budget. Every individual should put together a budget. You should have a budget for the year. Yes, you may have variances or you may not meet those budget numbers that you put down. You may say, I'm going to spend $20 on eating out this month. And then by the end of the month, you spend $200 on eating out. The question, the question for us is how do we calibrate the next month? Okay, so this month I spent $20 or I spent $200 and the variance is $180. Next month, what do I need to adjust myself? And we have a clear vision of what next 36 months looks like. And I use 36 months because we all have car payments, or some of us have car payments.
Right.
And now I saw a car payment for 72-month car payment. So technically, we're already planning for a 72-month timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you didn't plan for it, you've already committed to a 72-month agreement. Or
Facts.
you agreed to a
72.
40 or 60-month agreement or
Right.
24-month agreement, you have an agreement that you put in place. So that is a contract that you put in place. So why not just make sure that we can really design our lives the way we want it to be? So
I like
We
that.
we
Design
have
it.
to choose. We have to choose to design our lives and how
Mm-hmm.
it looks. And if we don't design it or have an outline of what it looks like, everybody else controls it. So I use that everyone else controls it. For example, um, when I was a supervisor, my job was to fill the schedule. And
Right.
even if I have to cry, beg, and bribe, whatever I need to do to get people to
To
on the
feel
schedule is what I would
right.
do.
Right, right, right.
Now, if someone already has a plan, it doesn't matter what I do. Their plan is still hold steady. They are
Mm-hmm.
committed to their kids, they're committed to their family. It doesn't matter what my request is. They have given me their 3 days. They're not going to give me an extra day, right? But if you don't have plans in place, then I will come in and ask
You
you
will
for
make the
more of your
schedule
time.
right.
And that is how it works. That is just the nature of the beast. That's what we do in health in healthcare. That's how it is. We're always short-handed, so we're always asking for more people's time. But
Right.
so that's where I would say the first two things needs to happen is have an outline for 36 months. What is it that you want it to look like? Secondly, put together a budget. Put an
Mm,
annual budget, a monthly budget. Make sure that you're trying to live close to your budget as possible.
yeah. I do the monthly, especially being entrepreneur, and then I still do some bedside patient care. And so my months kind of, we have like now we're starting to get a rhythm. And but yeah, but the monthly, I think everyone's different. You got to go with what works for you. But yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. You have to have something. You got to know what's coming in and what's going out. I mean,
Yeah.
just basics of okay.
So I love the
Okay.
fact that you have a monthly. Now I would push you to consider doing an annual calculation. So
Right.
really
Mhm.
set up your monthly, do an average of what the last 3 months has been, and
Mhm.
then you cannot extrapolate what an annual budget looks like. So now you can actually speak to the cost of our living expenses in our household
Mhm.
is X. Again, very similar to what we do as leaders, leading departments. We look at the overall
Right,
operations of
right.
the month, and
The
then we extrapolate for
expenditures.
the next 12 months or the next 11 months to figure out what is how can we make sure that we retain our commitment to the organization to make sure that we can meet our payroll. And
Gotcha.
likewise, if we can treat our personal businesses and also our homes almost operated as like a business, we would be able to shore up a lot of gaps that we have.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, so you're saying basically just be you can predict based off the 3 months, you can predict what the annual year looks like, identify gaps, and then figure out from there, okay, well, what do we need to get us to where we want to be or need to be?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
So, and I also say, you have to add some reward system in place. So, because just
Yeah.
like any diet,
You
you
want
cannot
my
just
ice
go on
cream.
water diet because you're
Right.
like, I need some soda once in a while. Oh, I need some tea once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to be able to get my
Shopping.
tea in, or my ice cream in. So whatever it is
Mm-hmm.
that um would keep you on course is still important. So I do not project the idea of you have to live frugal and not live a life. It's really understanding what your expenditures look like. That's why you
Right.
you create a budget, and that budget
Right.
allows you to now validate the differences. So what is your actual? How much am I really spending? So
Right.
the other day I was visiting. I was at a hospital, and I noticed that the therapists were ordering Starbucks. And literally, each person had about 2 cups of Starbucks each. So I'm calculating, okay, that's $10. That is $30 a month, or that $30 a week if you're drinking 2 Starbucks every
Right.
shift,
Every shift. Mm-hmm.
right? That's $30 a week.
Mm-hmm.
That is $120 a month.
Hmm.
It adds up real fast,
Very fast.
right?
It
So
does.
that's 2,400 dollars a year. Literally,
Yeah.
you're spending on. Can you reduce that to half a cup, a third of a cup? I don't know, but those are questions that we have to ask ourselves to say,
Right.
how do I want to change my trajectory and also make sure that I have things in place that I need.
Listen, you speaking the truth. Because I've definitely had to be on some, where's the money? Like I know, like you know how it is when you get your tax return, you know, your tax person is like, you made this year. I was like, did I? I was like, where is it? Show me where's the money. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Those the little expenses add up very fast. Like, you know,
Yes,
subscription plans, like things that you sign up for once and you forgot about it and not realizing it's every month is being taken out of your account or your card or something.
yes,
Like, auto pay, because sometimes these things they automatically.
yes.
How many of those things I had to like put my glasses on and really be on some, what is that? Like
Yeah.
what? Yeah, be
When was
like,
the last time we used that?
right. No, I mean, and like that math, like I'm not a math person, but when you really like, you're like, okay, $12 a month and $20 a month. These things really, they do add up. They
Yeah.
do. Um, so yes, Balihead, thank you so much. This is amazing. You have definitely dropped some gems on just being financially resilient and being strategic, with planning, with our career and our money. Um, so this is an opportunity to give your closing takeaways and to plug away anything that you have going on. How can we find you? Plug, plug, plug.
All right, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your platform, Linda. I really appreciate you, and
Yeah,
you're doing an amazing work. I know this is
thank
a
you.
is an ongoing passion of love that you've had, and I've seen you continue making impacts across the platforms that you're introducing yourself into, and also for our respiratory practitioner partners. You're one of those guiding lights that have shone your light and said, "Hey guys, we can do this." Each respiratory
Absolutely.
therapist, they used to call us MacGyvers. And again, that was
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
MacGyver, if you know MacGyver,
Uh-huh.
you know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I continue to be one of those individuals that
Absolutely.
can have lived the journey, and I know the impact that our work has for our
Mm-hmm.
patients and families, our clients, our members, and overall, my goal is to continue serving people and
Absolutely.
helping protect the most valuable asset with living life defender solutions. So, and who is the most valuable asset? That is you. That is me. So if we don't really take care of us and make sure that we have safety nets put in place in case of life events happening, where if anything ever happens, that you can actually go and say, hey, can I access these funds because I am now unable to work effectively like I used to? Or making sure that your family has the solutions in place that they can use should we die too soon or become too ill to work, or in addition, living too long. And do we have those solutions in place? So that is my goal, is to add value, to educate. And so if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. and you'll
Yes.
find me on LinkedIn. You'll also find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
I'm working on my TikTok site, so I should be coming up with my TikTok. So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to having some live conversations on TikTok. And thank you, Linda, again for making this platform possible.
No, thank you. Ballyhan, thank you so much for being here. I'm definitely we're gonna connect your LinkedIn most likely under you so they'll be able to find you very easily. And yes, thank you so much again for dropping those key takeaways on strategic planning and financial resilience. Very, very important information. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. Remember that we are here. Rts Share Tea is on most podcast platforms on Wednesdays and on YouTube on Thursdays, except for when I'm on vacation. Yes, guys, so much more to come. And I'll see you next time.